Welcome back into the Mental Game. I'm your host, Brandon Saho, and this week's guest is multi-platinum singer Bryce Vine, and I'm so excited to share this conversation with you. Bryce and I sat down here in Cincinnati before his concert a couple months ago and had an amazing conversation about his music career, his mental health, life, the ups and downs of the industry, and everything in between. Bryce's biggest song, I'm sure as you know, came out about 3 or 4 years ago. It is called Drew Barrymore. And it's a hit. It slaps. It is a really good song. But he also has a bunch of amazing songs in his catalog. If you're on Apple Music or Spotify listening to this podcast after you get done with the episode, go ahead and check out Bryce's music because it is awesome. A great conversation, great guy, has a lot of fun, energy on stage and also in this interview in front of the mic and on camera. So I can't wait to share it with you. So without further ado, here is Bryce Vine on The Mental Game. Welcome back into the Mental Game, and I am joined by a very special guest, Bryce Vine. Bryce, I appreciate you doing this, my man.
Thanks for having me. Where am I supposed to look?
Wherever you want.
Okay.
This is your place. We're getting ready for your show here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, look at that.
And you had an off day yesterday, settling in. You get the show tonight, so I'm excited. Got a couple of tickets, so it'll be a fun time for me. First thing I ask everyone on this podcast: what does mental health mean to you? And it can be a variation of answers. If you discovered it more recently, or maybe you've had a routine for a while, but what does mental health mean to you?
Well, I think anything that gives you peace on a daily schedule is healthy for your brain. Mm-hmm. And I also think that there's a lot to mental illness and mental health that has easy fixes that we just don't do on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. Everyone says take your vitamins. I know at least 4 guys on my bus that like scoff at that idea. You know, but it really does help. I just had a conversation 3 days ago with my drummer, and we've been in all these cities, and it's dark and rainy time of the year and cold outside, not getting a lot of sunlight. Yeah, and all of a sudden we kind of get depressed, and we're sitting there not knowing why, and it's like, well, it could be that our life hasn't gone the way we thought it was going to, or that there's all these problems at home.
Right.
It could be that. It could also be a vitamin D deficiency.
Right.
So it's always good to to nip the little things first. Yeah. You know, sometimes I think I'm super depressed that day, and it turns out I'm hungry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just something simple like that, or sunshine. Like you said, you've been in a bunch of rainy cities.
Mental health is about trying to navigate your own mind and body in the healthiest ways that you can.
And has that been a learning process for you over time?
Of course.
Like, I'm sure because your backstory, went to the Berklee College of Music, and you've started pursuing your dreams. Obviously, you had the big hit, Drew Barrymore, that we'll get into here in a little bit. But there had to be ups and downs where you probably thought about quitting music, or like it affected you where you're like, I don't know if I can do this.
It's never stopped.
Really?
No.
Even like being on tour, having it hit on the radio, that doesn't stop?
Because that's not the problem.
Yeah. That's what people at home don't get.
Yeah. That's not the problem. The problem is that's part of where my art comes from, and I've tried to push it away. And that's part of where a lot of artists come from.
Sure.
You know, there's an insecurity factor, whether they want to admit it or not.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's you got to be in your own head a lot.
Yeah.
Just to write stuff, I think.
Yeah.
At least that's what it is for me. So, no, I've always thought that this isn't going to work out.
Was there a low point though before maybe the Drew Barrymore hit?
Oh God, there's been tons of low points. Yeah.
Like where you just sat there and like it was. I know you think about it all the time. You said, but like, was there a point where it was just like, shit, this isn't for me?
I guess I won't say it all the time. Yeah, there's been multiple times. You know, when I got into Berklee, I saw the talent that I was surrounded by. I just came from a small town, and I got a scholarship to go to this amazing, prestigious, the Hogwarts of music schools, you know? And then you get there and you realize everybody's a really, really talented person.
Yeah, it's like going from high school to college to pro sports and like seeing how good everyone is in the NFL.
It can be intimidating, especially if you already are prone to depression and anxiety and all those things, which I've always been. I remember calling my mom maybe like 2 weeks into Berkeley, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I deserve to be here. And she was like, well, they do. They think you deserve to be here.
Good mom.
Yeah, she's a great mom. But it's always things like that. 2 steps forward, 3 steps forward, maybe 1 step back.
Yeah.
You know, I got onto a show called The Glee Project when I was just starting. I left school.
Yeah.
Whoa, this validation of being picked.
Right.
I'm picked. I'm one of the 12.
It's big.
First one kicked off.
But that's another one of those moments where you go into the ups and downs.
You know, and in retrospect, that's easy to say.
Yeah.
You know, but you feel like a effing loser when that happens, you know?
Because you have nothing else. That's the you might have other things, but like that's the point that or the goal you're trying to achieve right there, and then it's gone. It's like, what the fuck do I do next?
Exactly. Yeah. 100%. So, and it's consistent through that. I mean, even like, let's go up to after 8 years and 9 years of me driving Lyft and working odd jobs and playing my music in cars for people and stuff. Drew Barrymore happens. I've met every label under the sun. And nobody cared to sign me, and you still keep going, right?
That's insane.
You have to enjoy it at least a little bit. It drives you crazy. But then, you know, COVID happens.
Right.
After all that time, finally, and then you finally get there. You get to that point. And then everything stops. And then you kind of gotta. I'm still working it again.
Yeah.
You know,
I think about Jack Harlow because he blew up right when COVID started.
Right when COVID happened.
So, like, what's poppin'? He didn't perform that for like a year and a half.
Isn't that crazy?
It's
wild.
wild.
I know. I thought about that too.
I had tickets to see him in Cincinnati, like a small venue for like $15 right when What's Poppin' came out, and obviously it got canceled. But like going through those ups and downs where you're like locked up just like everyone else, but like your whole career's on hold.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all felt that.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people. There was worse problems to have.
Right.
But it was still our problem.
Yeah.
You know, that you go from, and for me, I had just seen success for the first time in my career.
Yeah.
Right before that, you know, 2020 was supposed to be the biggest year. There was nothing to stop me except for, say, like maybe the world ending.
Right.
Suddenly,
Which kind of did. Yeah.
And then you go back and you dust off your knees and push forth again. But there's things that can help.
Yeah.
There's things that can definitely help. And I would like to tell people what's worked for me because I think my music has helped a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. What has worked for you when you've been able to get out of those lows and get back and just, it's a daily thing. Like for me, it's a mix of medication, just knowing like what triggers me or what puts me down. Like I quit drinking about 2 months ago.
Good for you.
And it's been like, I don't know if I'll ever go back, like, which is weird because I'm a big partier, but like I don't put that expectation on. I don't say like I'm never going to.
No, you shouldn't either.
Because you can't. But what are some of the things that you've done that have helped you?
That's one of them.
Really?
That's one of them. You know, just taking a break from anything that alters your mind. You know, where you use something else to have control over the situation or to lose control, even. Like, not be so in your head. When you can achieve that naturally, it always feels better. You feel more confident in a room. You know. But some of the things that help, I do yoga. I started doing it during the pandemic.
Yeah. You were there before this interview.
Well, the place was closed. We're in Cincinnati.
Tried. Okay, so
I'm like, Jesus.
We'll
so
blame my city for that.
I ran instead.
Okay.
I don't love to run, but I ran like 2 miles just to like sweat it out.
Yeah,
you know?
there you go.
You got to sweat it out.
Yeah, it does help. I do Orange Theory. Have you ever tried that?
Yeah.
It's fun. Just up
you
tempo.
Need that.
And like having music. I'm a big music guy. Obviously, you are too. So
sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes having that like when you work out helps a lot too.
Yeah, you need that. I think that's one of those ones that's like a lot of people they don't realize they just need to sweat it out.
Yeah.
You feel better instantly.
Right.
No matter what you're going through. Another one of those things. You don't know if it's a mental health issue or if you just or that if that's gonna help. You just don't know what's gonna help you until you do. For me, anything that gets my brain to not focus on me and my own issues is a plus. So taking my phone away, going to yoga, reading helps a lot.
Okay, yeah. I'm not a big reader, but I've heard you are big into it.
Yeah, and I go back and forth. There's months will go by where I just don't have any interest. But if you find you don't have to force your way through a book if you don't want to. You can find something that's intriguing to you. Right now I'm reading No Reservations by Anthony Bourdain. It's just interesting. He's an interesting guy. He was. But if it gets boring, you put it down. It's not like school where you just had to finish it so that you do the
you got to pass.
You don't have to do all that. And it's fun to read stories and take in information somewhere that's not here, right in your face, and with a bright
The TikTok
screen.
algorithm is incredible. It's it's dangerous.
The TikTok algorithm.
Yeah, they know exactly what you want to see, and I get lost on there for hours.
Not just TikTok. I mean, that's what their job is.
Yeah,
they're doing a great job at what their job is.
Right.
Their job is to entertain us with what we like to see and what we're curious about.
But that's what you talking about getting stuck on the phone.
Oh man,
I lay down at night.
It's an addiction.
I'll get there and I'll be like, shit, it's been 45 minutes. I'm scrolling through TikTok still. Like, what the hell?
We're living so much less of our life.
Yeah.
When we do those things, and I'm guilty of it the same. So yeah, working out, reading. There's a breathing exercise. A guy called Wim Hof.
Okay.
A lot of people know about it. The Wim Hof breathing technique. I'd say that would be a great start for anybody that doesn't know where to start, because it's easy. You want to start with something easy.
Yeah.
You just breathe in and out, super deep, 40 times, and then you hold your breath on the exhale, and you wouldn't believe how much better you feel.
It sounds so simple and, to some, I'm sure, crazy to hear, that does so much, but, it is little things, little routines that can help you the best sometimes.
A lot of the issues that trigger mental illnesses, or not, I don't even want to say that. A lot of the issues that I have, they're lessened just by bringing more oxygen to the brain.
Yeah.
And I think it could be that way for a lot of people. We're always like this. We're always cutting off, looking at our phone, looking down.
Yeah.
Always cutting off oxygen in our neck to our brain all the time. We do it, and you don't know why you're getting depressed. That's a huge possibility that you're not getting enough oxygen to the brain. Breathing deep brings oxygen to the brain. Running, working out, yoga, the whole point is breathing. I mean, and these things really help a lot of people. And it's all stems from just getting oxygen to the brain.
Yeah, those are definitely all ways. I mean, working out for me, I'm not some macho NFL athlete, but just getting out and running like you did today, or going to Orange Theory, it makes a huge difference. The shit might suck when you get there. Once you're done, you just have some little high that's natural of, I accomplished something, I feel better. I want to get into, you mentioned things that you struggle with. Have you dealt with depression and anxiety since a young age, and how have you been able to tackle that? Is therapy a thing for you?
I was diagnosed with depression when I was 13, which is kind of young for that. I don't even know if it was accurate.
Right.
ADD, a form of dyslexia called RLD. I don't even know because I have it. And
sorry to laugh. It was a funny line.
You gotta apologize. Very young age. I started taking Ritalin in school. I basically had no personality when I was trying to get through schools because I couldn't pay attention.
Yeah,
got held back. All the good stuff, But music was kind of the way to work through that. I listened to songs and heard what they were going through, and it made me feel a little less alone in those things. And now I understand why people come to concerts and stuff to feel that. But that was a big part of it. And then I realized I could write songs and just make my own therapy.
Right.
And you can too.
Yeah.
You can write stuff down. They tell you to do that all the time.
Yeah, journaling's a big thing that can help your mental health. And you talked about music being therapy for you. Is it more of the writing process or being on stage, a mix of both?
The writing process can be annoying.
Yeah.
Tedious for me. I know a lot of people love it, and I have in the past, and I haven't found that again. It's more of an obligation these days.
Yeah. I don't know what. Testing some vocals here. People at home that are listening have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, there's vocal warm-ups going on in the back. Therapy, I've tried. I can't be consistent with it.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand that my schedule is weird.
Right.
And I can't just
show up on Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can't do it. And I'm not going to lie, maybe it's just the arrogance. And a lot of times I just feel like it's a waste.
Yeah.
I feel like I speak for 45 minutes so that they get to understand where I'm coming from, and then the time's up.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this to counter that, because I thought the same thing when I first started. And Kate Flannery, who plays Meredith on The Office, told me this. She just bounce around, shop around. If you're at the point where you need one, shop around, because there are just like every profession. There's bad athletes. There's bad whatever it is, and you can find a better one. It can help you out. But like, you have the whereabouts, and some people don't. Where like, if you're going through shit, like, you know what makes you happy or makes you tick or gets you healthier. Like, for some, they need that guidance of, if they can get it, a therapist that that guides them the right way.
And I don't think that anything always works or never works for anyone. It's different for everybody. Right. I haven't found that person.
Yeah.
And when you're trying people out, you're really divulging a lot of information.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to do that with a whole bunch of people until I find the right one. I keep trying other ways to figure out what's going on, and even sometimes when it comes to just admitting that you need the medication, like during 2020, I tried to get off, depression medication and Adderall, and I got to a place where I was just like in my bedroom for maybe just 5 days straight and felt no reason or will to do anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, all right, maybe
there's something to this.
Maybe there's something to this, yeah.
Well, medication's the same way. Like, for anyone listening that hasn't tried it yet or hasn't gone to the doctor or gone to therapy, like, you got to try that too. Like, there's some things that have side effects or might not work for you. And that's the whole thing with mental health, is what works for you, or it's different for everyone. You being an artist and going from the grind of, I didn't know you drove Lyft. I've driven Uber in the past just to just to get by and like try to do something different, make easy money quick. And also, like, I mean, you can work on your game in Uber.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun. You talk to people.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can work on your game, talk to women in there. Like, just try to better your craft a little bit.
I had really cool things happen out of Lyft. Some weird stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, some guy did drug deals out of my car for like 2 hours in South Central LA. Yeah. Yeah, but
you knew the short trips. You're like, all right, I know what's going on here.
Oh, we're making 4 stops.
We're going from a gas station
to the back of a laundromat to a building with graffiti all over it and no lights on. Yeah.
But where I was going with that was, you've gone from playing your music in cars for people to performing small shows, making music at home, to doing this like tonight, or going on tour in front of thousands and thousands of people 3 months straight on a tour bus, getting to live out the real dream that you've always had. Do you have to pinch yourself ever? And is there a balance of like,
every night,
this is me?
Every night. Yeah. That's why the shows are my favorite place to be.
Yeah.
On stage in front of all these people where you could just, there's very few places in the world where I feel like I could just entirely be myself.
Yeah.
And I know all these people are coming here because they feel what I'm trying to put out.
Right.
I don't have to hide anything or be worried that I can't dance or anything. You
don't have rhythm?
I have rhythm. Come on, baby. You've heard it.
All right. Yeah, I know that. Sorry. Dancing wise.
I can't, I'm not going to like be one Chris Brown.
Yeah. Well, I did competitive hip hop in like 7th through 9th grade. So I got a little in me still.
No kidding.
No kidding. That's people don't know that a lot. So I don't know if I'm going to get some dance requests after this from people in the DMs, but yeah, I can moonwalk. I never forget Michael Jackson's 30th anniversary concert. I taped that on a VHS. For those of you at home that don't know what that is, VHS is before we had DVR or Netflix, whatever. And I just practiced for 4 hours.
Wow.
And that's my passion. But yeah, like this being your home, that's so sick to hear that you still get, because I work with athletes, talk to NFL players, baseball players, whoever it is. And like some of them, it can be mundane where it's repetitive. Yeah. But for you to have that juice, like when you walk out on stage, is that same like, let's fucking go every time?
Yeah, every time. It's like the one place that I feel that way.
That's incredible. So it's good for your mental health.
100%.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Let's talk about Drew Barrymore. I know you get asked about this in every interview, so I'm trying not to be too repetitive. Right. But that song changed your life.
Mm-hmm.
Crush on Drew Barrymore from The Wedding Singer. That's where this originated?
That's where that's the image that I had of her. Yeah.
But the purpose behind it is really cool for me. Hearing the backstory of, because it's the beautiful person that you want to find. Like, it's more about the inside. That is something very cool that obviously you're an artist and more goes into it than just naming a song Drew Barrymore.
It's more about iconicizing the person that you care about.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like, just walk me through what those lyrics really mean to you.
When I started it, it was just like anything else. You just have to just start writing, whether you don't know what it's going to be. And for months, I didn't know what that song was going to be. I just started a beat, started writing. I had the idea of like two ghosts in a room together. The original, like the working title was called Ghosts.
Okay.
Like if they just lived in a room together, like a couple, just in a hotel room in
could have
Arizona.
been a spin-off of 50 First Dates.
It could have been
like
anything. Yeah, it could have been anything when it started. And then it's like kind of you chisel out the idea a little bit as it goes. And I still didn't know for months. And then I heard like a voice note from Julia Michaels where she said, "You're the next Drew Barry and I want more." It was from like 5 years prior. And I don't know why. That worked with everything I was going to say. Yeah, sometimes you really just Frankenstein stuff together. Yeah. La La Land was more like a very specific idea.
Yeah.
Where Drew Barrymore just kind of came together over time.
That's super cool. And did you ever hear from her? Was there ever a
Drew?
Yeah. Did you ever meet her or get a DM or anything?
I did the Kelly Clarkson show. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I did the Kelly Clarkson show with Jay Leno as the other guest sitting next to me.
Oh my God, that's my
so
idol.
cool.
I grew up wanting to host the Tonight Show,
No
so I watched Jay Leno.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's incredible. I'm super jealous on that one.
He was mad cool too. Very Jay Leno. He had a quip, for every line and stuff. I'm just sitting there like, I can't believe this. And it surprised me while they were filming. They brought down a screen and there's Drew Barrymore, and she had left us a voice message, a video message
that's
that
sick.
she loved the song and hi Bryce, blah blah blah. So yeah, bucket list achieved. It was cool.
That's cool. What else is on the bucket list for you? I mean, I know you're touring now. You just put out an EP, Serotonin, which obviously relates to everything we're just talking about, getting out and being happy. And what's on the bucket list still for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because you get to a place where you've achieved all the goals that you had when you were like 15 playing in a punk band in the backyard. You know, I'm past all those visions that I had, and now you got to make new ones.
Right.
And it's hard to do that and still appreciate how far you've come. Mm-hmm. A lot of times I get told, even by close friends, like, you need to practice gratitude, and that sounds so cliche. But even just for the small things, like those moments you hear the whole crowd singing Drew Barrymore and you don't even need to be on the mic, laughing on the bus with your team, even hearing stuff in the background, people like you try to create the environment that you want to make you happy. The goals I have are, I think, like pretty, I don't want to say standard. I want my music to be heard everywhere.
Yeah.
I want to go to the rest of the world and play every stage known to man and help people with the money that I make.
Yeah.
And build waterways in Ethiopia and write a book. And
you want to rule the world the best you can in a positive light.
As a person that lives for the light. Yeah. I want to have the world at my disposal.
You've got, and I've listened to your music for a while. And like I said, did a couple hours of research, just listening to different interviews. It's fun to see and meet people. And I'm sure you've had this happen where you meet an athlete or meet a celebrity or meet a musician and you can feel that they're not genuine and they're not real. And so you're genuine, and which is cool to hear you open up and talk about stuff like that. Is that just your personality? You just live who you are? There's no faking it?
I mean, we all have moments where we realize we're putting on.
Right.
I started writing music just from that place, you know, just being like an awkward kid that I wasn't a sports star. I wasn't like the most popular kid in school. So you just like write from the perspective of like a normal kid. And my parents were very open, they always liked having people around. Like they created environments where people were welcome.
Right. Because your dad owned a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
My dad had a little restaurant, and And that was his way of bringing in people. So I think since I come from that, I always like including everyone, anyone that's trying to do good.
Yeah.
And I realized that when I try to do something else or try to do something other than what just comes naturally to me or what my fans relate to, my music suffers.
Yeah.
So there's an extra incentive not to become this, asshole.
Yeah.
Because I know that if I do and I let it all start to affect me in the wrong way, that I won't write the same stuff.
Right. Well, I want to get into some fun stuff too. We talked about some, but on the road, you got a favorite tour story or just something that just makes you laugh every time you think about it?
It was this last tour. It was one of those moments that I'll try to remind myself to be grateful for a long time. We were playing in New York. I had a sold-out show there, and I flew out my mom to New York because that's where I was born.
Yeah.
That's where she's from also. And I pointed her out in the crowd, and I said, "Oh, yeah, my mom's here tonight." And I didn't expect it at all, but everybody in the crowd turned, looked up, saw my mom, and they started clapping for her for about 1 minute. Couldn't get them to stop if I wanted to, and I didn't want them to, but they just continuously clap, and she was loving it. She's blowing out kisses like she's the Queen of England, and that was special. And then when I got off stage, I didn't see it, but everyone told me as soon as I was off the stage and the band is still playing, they went back and turned to her again and started clapping for her again.
Was that an emotional moment for you and your mom both?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Because she was like, they love me because of how you are.
Yeah.
And that was, it was really special. Really, really special.
That's a super cool moment. It's better than you telling me how drunk you were at some club and this guy showed up and this celebrity I appreciate that story better.
Yeah, those things happen all the time.
Yeah.
And there's just kind of fleeting moments, but it's very rare where you have one that kind of lives in your head for a long time. We've had lots of fun.
Yeah.
No doubt. But
you saw it as a kid, in California. I'm sure you dreamed of getting to L.A. and getting to experience some of it.
Yeah,
to a degree, I'm sure.
I grew up in L.A., so there was always celebrity around. I guess it just it fascinates you, but it just doesn't. It's not the be-all, end-all that it is.
Yeah.
For a lot of people that move to L.A., I think.
Yeah, my first time to L.A. and Hollywood, we shot the first season of this. I was out there for a week shooting 5-6 episodes. It was different for me, but I've worked on a big stage and been in the biggest arena, stadiums, athletes, whoever it is, but it's different. Going to Hollywood and experiencing different studios and things, it's a new experience.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people get sucked into it in the wrong way, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Lost in the sauce.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to do. There's plenty of distractions anywhere, but especially a place like that,
LA,
where everyone's trying to get famous. And I talked to Marky Basie about this, who I know just people trying to date people for clout or keep up with the gossip and get on this magazine, do that. It's just crazy how that is. Last thing I want to ask you, advice to a young songwriter, artist, someone at Berkeley right now that wants to follow your footsteps and live out their dream on the stage.
Again, I can only speak from my perspective of how things go, and my journey was by no means it's not like anybody else's, and theirs isn't like mine. It's just, but if you just gotta have something to say, you gotta, and that takes work. It takes effort to know what you want to put out into the world and have a clear understanding of it. Not ignore where you came from. Mm-hmm. Treat people with kindness. It feels good.
Yeah,
it feels good to do. And I honestly think, and I tell people this openly because I don't think a lot of people would do it, but like I said, reading really helps. It helps open up the creative brain. It helps you come up with new ideas and new ways to say things, that will be yours because nobody else is doing it like that. Mm-hmm. When I read a Stephen King book and then I take ideas from that into the cover art, I know that that's going to be very specific to me because I'm sure there's not some other rapper doing that.
Right.
You got to find those things. You can't let your output exceed your input.
Yeah. Got to be yourself. And that's been cool, man, getting to know you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man. Appreciate this. This is a cool thing to do, too, I think, for a lot of people. Yeah, depression's a real thing. I think it's just we keep trying to find easy fixes to stuff. That's just human nature. Mm-hmm. I do it all the time. Try to find easy fixes, but the ones that are hard, quitting drinking, making yourself uncomfortable in situations that could end up being good for you. Learning something new, like a language or an instrument, you'll never feel worse.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. I got a couple tickets, so your team hooked me up. I'm going to be here tonight rocking out, and we will see everybody back here next week on the Mental Game.
Let's go.
And as you can tell from that conversation, Bryce is just a fun guy, and his shows, they are even more fun. It is like a party. He just wrapped up his tour, but he's performing all over the country this summer at some festivals and different events. Please, if you can, get a chance, go watch Bryce. He is an awesome, awesome live show. Can't thank him enough for giving me some of his time back here in Cincinnati a few months ago. Coming up next week, right back here on the Mental Game, it is another surprise guest. You will find out on Sunday on my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and MySpace. If we get that up and running, that's just a fun joke. I don't know why I think MySpace is so funny, but I'm old enough to remember having one. Next week's guest is a football player from the NFL. He plays for the Indianapolis Colts. It is an awesome conversation about his own journey, the ups and downs with mental health, depression, and I can't wait to share that with you. Coming up right back here next week on The Mental Game.